Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're going to take a quick look at RDNT. Now RDNT is a cross-chain lending, borrowing money market. It's pretty simple and I do have a flow chart to explain everything for you. But as always, I will encourage you to go and read the docs. You know, the docs are pretty good, but there are quite a few, there are some references to the math and so forth in Aave here. So it's basically an Aave fork with cross-chain capability. So if you want to really dig deep, you're probably going to have to dig deep into the Aave docs as well as the RDNT docs. Now, of course, you can go to their Discord and ask questions there and so forth and do that. Now, the video I have prepared for you is based purely on what I've read through this this RDNT Capital docs, and they do talk about the upcoming version 2, which will change probably some of the things I'm saying and make it a little bit more seamless. However, based on what they say here in the docs, this video is based on that. Okay, so let's swing over to the flowchart and go through how does this thing work. If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have Dollar Bill and his brother Boosted Bill, and they want to lend each other and borrow some money from each other and so forth. So let's get into this. So in the middle, we have RDNT Finance. Now, RDNT Finance is very particular about their current assets, so they only support the following assets as of now. They might change this in the future, but as you can see, we have 3 stablecoins: DAI, USDC, Tether, Ethereum, and then Bitcoin. Okay, and so Dollar Bill has USDC. He wants to lend. He wants to get some passive income, and Boosted Bill has some Ethereum he wants to degen with. So the first thing, Dollar Bill can supply his USDC to RDNT on Arbitrum, and basically he will be rewarded, first of all, with vesting RDNT tokens, okay? And these tokens vest for 28 days, okay? And along comes Boosted Bill. Boosted Bill has Ethereum, so he's going to lend his Ethereum on RDNT as well on Arbitrum and get the same 28-day vesting token rewards, okay? However, he's going to take that ETH that he's put in there and turn it as collateral, so supply it as collateral so he can use it to borrow against it, right? Now you'll have to look into like collateral factor, health factor, but basically, you know, $100 in, maybe he can borrow $70 or $80 or $60. So you have to check each asset, okay? So he puts in $100 worth of Ethereum and he decides, oh, I want to borrow some USDC, and he borrows some USDC, right? However, but he wants to borrow the USDC on another chain. So let's say he wants to borrow it on Polygon. So he will, on the RDNT website, he can tell Polygon that he wants, or tell RDNT that he wants to borrow his USDC on Polygon. And what will actually happen is it'll borrow the USDC on Arbitrum. And because of this borrowing, he's also getting rewarded with RDNT tokens, again, 28-day vesting tokens, and that those tokens, that USDC, will go through Stargate and come out the other side on Polygon for him. And then he can take those USDC to any like DeFi degen stuff on Polygon that he wants to do with that. Okay, so it's kind of like one click, borrow, bridge, and then he can, afterwards, he can take it to wherever he wants to use that USDC. Okay. Moving on, so after the 28 days is over, Dollar Bill will claim his RDNT tokens and he will lock them. So the locks are 28 days as well. Now, why would he want to do that? You'll find out in the future. So obviously he can use the locked RDNT tokens for voting, but there's also some sharing of fees for these guys. So another place you can take your RDNT tokens is you can supply them on SushiSwap, ETH RDNT, LP, and then you can take that LP token and you can stake it on RDNT in the staking page and earn some more RDNT tokens. Okay, so classic liquidity mining. Okay, now let's say Boosted Bill's degen, he doesn't want to wait the 28 days, so he borrows after, say, 10 days. Okay, or he claims his RDNT tokens after 10 days. So when you claim early, you give up 50% of your tokens. So 50% of the tokens are given to the lockers. So anybody who claims early gives half of their tokens to the lockers, and they get their their Radiant tokens, and they can do with these as they please. Perhaps they will sell them on the liquidity pool, or maybe lock them. I'm not sure. It depends on the individual what he wants to do with those tokens. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is repaying. So Boosted Bill, you know, he's earning interest of, let's say, 6%, right? So because he borrowed this USDC from Radiant, he's going to pay 6% interest. And at some point in the future, he decides he wants to repay his debt to get his collateral out. So he has to send his USDC through Stargate back into Radiant and repay his debt. But so let's say he's paid 6% interest, and 4% is owed to Boosted Bill, so he gets a auto compounding. Basically, his holdings of USDC in Radiant go up by that 4%, right, of that amount. And then the other 2% is what we call the reserve factor. Like, all of these protocols have this like reserve factor. It's not exactly like, if you look on the website, you can see that there's a difference between the lend supply, the lend APY, and the borrow APY. Now, that if you want to know more about reserve factor, again, dig deeper, read more about on Aave's docs. But basically, there's a small spread between what he pays and what he gets, and the Radiant will take that reserve factor. So let's say it's about 2% in this case, okay? So that 2% is shared half and half. So it's obviously used, it doesn't say in the docs, but I'm assuming that it's used to buy Radiant tokens off the market, and half of those Radiant tokens are given to the vestors. So they boost these vestors, and the other half, or they don't boost them, they just, you know, that's where the token, instead of having to mint them, they're buying them and giving them, right? And the other half are given to the lockers. So they boost these guys and give them some more. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple in the sense of people who have watched my videos for a long time will probably easily understand this and get a good idea. Now, there is one default problem, is that this Radiant is depending on the Stargate. So currently they only support USDC and Tether to go through this. You can't borrow ETH through the Stargate, or Bitcoin through the Stargate, WBTC. But I guess as the Stargate grows and more chains are added and more assets, and this is deeper liquidity, then they can add some more of these assets to go through the Stargate and borrow on other chains. Okay, so that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been useful, and goodbye.